ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Around the Bases, episode 1, the podcast where we touch base with all the hot topics surrounding Major League Baseball. My name's Caleb Dean, and I'm here with Around the Felt CEO Reagan Loescher. How you doing tonight, Reagan?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your inaugural podcast. I'm excited to be here with you. I feel honored that you asked me to come on over Colin and Dave and some of the other guys.
Well, your baseball knowledge takes the cake there, so that's why you get this honorable position. But let's jump right into things. Major League Baseball, you guys probably know the season is in full swing right now. We're like 32 games into the season, give or take. And it's kind of an odd time to be starting a podcast, but life's kind of gotten in the way for myself and Reagan's been doing stuff with the other Round the Felt accounts. So we're just gonna pick it up here and we're gonna roll with it and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So Reagan, how are you feeling about your Yankees so far this year? I mean, not much to bat an eye at so far.
Yeah, I mean it's early. They're playing well. Obviously starting out the year with a bang, sweeping Houston in Houston. I mean that's awesome because it seems like over the past couple of years they've just had our number and come playoff time, it doesn't matter. We might win a game or two, but we're losing in five, we're losing in six, we're losing in seven, can't get past them. So started off like that. That was awesome. I mean, obviously Garrett Cole hasn't been playing, so with us being, I believe, 19 and 12 at this point of the recording, the fact that we're doing that well and having that success of pitching early on is awesome without your ace. Because obviously, guys like Cortez and Stroman have stepped up here and there, and then Rodon has been awesome to start the year. I mean, it's a guy we thought we were getting last year. Because I was saying like when we got Rodon, he had two good years coming in prior, one with the Giants and one with the White Sox, where he had sub 3.0 ERA, and I'm like, look, like a lot of people out there like are gonna act like Garrett Cole's like way and above this guy, but I was saying I don't think the drop off's that much. I'm like, you can make a case that Rodon's the same level as him. Obviously, last year struggled with injuries, struggled a lot, so it is what it is. And then Anthony Volpe this year has been like on top of his shit, getting on base a ton. He's the new leadoff. I mean, I don't want to say Derek Jeter 2.0, but off to a great start there. And yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully, Judge figures it out. And obviously, the Soto addition has been huge.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm used to living in the shadow of the Yankees, because I'm a Mets fan, but
Oh yeah.
I'm like I'm okay with where we're at right now, 30 games into the season. Well, 29 actually. They're playing their 30th right now against the Cubs. We're 15 and 14 at the time of this recording. And honestly, that's about where I would have had us at this point. Started out the season 0 and 5, which like I was getting bad vibes from the very beginning there, but the boys, they came in, they turned it around real quick, and 15-14, like that'll play right now. If we sneak into a wild card spot at the end, then that's good. But the reason the Mets are 15 and 14 right now is because the pitching is overperforming. I don't know if that can be long term, like sustained for the long term, because we're without Senga right now, which it's a good sign, right? That's our ace and we're performing well, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to last all season. Buto's been a really nice surprise, and I'm okay. I'm chilling. I'm satisfied with where the Mets are at. But let's move to another National League East team here,
Oh, wait,
the
hold on. I just want to say
Phillies.
one thing real quick. Severino pitching this well pisses
Yeah.
me off so much. It is classic Yankees to have a pitcher who was a bum on the Yankees, and then as soon as he leaves, he's good. Nathan Eovaldi, Sonny Gray, even Frankie Montas this year started out hot. Like the list goes on and on and on. And of course, Severino almost throws a no hitter the other day. He's at a 2.31 ERA. So, and honestly, I'm impressed because the Mets got a lot of guys that have like had success before, but like just have never been able to put it all together for season after season. But the fact that between Severino, Sean Manna, Quintana, and like you were saying, Buto, like all sub 3.5 ERAs, like great start for the Mets, but
Yeah.
just pisses me off as a Yankee fan because it's just classic. It always happens. And Nathan Eovaldi always kills us in the playoffs, kills us.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that depart from the Mets and go on to play a lot better than they did
Yeah,
for
that's
the
true.
Mets.
You
I
look at
mean,
fucking Zach
I feel
Wheeler
like you
right
could
now.
say that. Yeah, I mean, he was good for the Mets, but now he has solidified his ace status. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, like Cy Young
Um,
level.
yeah, speaking of Zach Wheeler, he is a member of the National League's top rotation currently. The Phillies coming into the day, 2.20 starter ERA. That's the best in the National League. And they're getting
Wow.
over 6 innings out of their starters, which is huge because in baseball's current day and age, starters don't go as deep as they used to. So to get six out of your guys on a daily basis is huge. And Nola, he has the highest ERA in that rotation, which doesn't say a whole lot, or maybe it does because it's a 3.16 ERA. That'll play for sure. Wheeler's sitting at a 2.30 ERA, and both of those guys have over 30 innings pitched so far. Wheeler's strikeout to walk ratio, Reagan, 38-7.
Damn. He's
Yeah,
wheeling and dealing.
he
No
sure
pun
is.
intended there.
I
Actually,
feel like the pun was
definitely intended.
intended.
Definitely intended.
Um, but then there's guys like Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez has like not been this level of pitcher before in his career, pitching to a 1.36 ERA so far in 2024 through 33 innings pitched. That's not even like a small sample size to begin the year. Like I think you might have him on your fantasy team, Reagan. I don't remember, but maybe he's moving around.
Who,
Do you
Ranger
have him on?
Suarez?
Yeah.
Nah, I would take him in a heartbeat. I took Strider, he's out. I got Mike
Oh
Trout,
yeah.
he's out. You know, Walker Bueller, I took a shot on. My team's just a hospital bed right now. I ain't like that. I think I'm a little washed when it comes to the seam.
Yeah, no, I mean, you fell to me, whatever, when I had
Hmm.
no internet for 4 days, and I still beat you somehow. Um,
I'm
but
washed.
yeah,
I'm washed.
no, you'll pull it back. But the Phillies are also the first team to 20 wins. I didn't have that on my bingo card, as you guys would say.
Hmm.
And they're going toe to toe with the Braves right now at the top of the National League East, and the Mets sit right in the middle there. But I honestly think that that's probably where that division will end up. But I digress. We got some more news here. Something a little bit more lighthearted. Reagan, did you see the video of the swarm of bees at the Diamondbacks stadium the other day? There was a bee delay.
Yeah, I mean that's wild. It's I didn't have that like you were saying before on my bingo card. Game to be delayed because of the bees, and I saw the
Yeah,
bee. They let the beekeeper throw out the first pitch. Like that's awesome. It's like you know what? As a beekeeper, it's probably not the most luxurious job, but you get to come out and throw out an MLB first pitch. You're the hero in Arizona. I mean, I'm sure people were buying him shots after. I'm sure it was a great time to be a beekeeper in Arizona if you get the
of
call.
course. And the
Business has got to be
Diamondbacks,
booming now for that guy.
dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, you never know on any given day how fast your life could just kind of like take off. Like, I was doing notes for this podcast and I typed MLB news into my search bar. Everything was about this guy. Matt Hilton was his name. There were like 5 or 6 articles about this guy.
So what you're saying, the biggest beekeeper of the year is not Jason oh wait, no, what the hell is his name? The Fast and Furious guy, the bald guy. You know what I'm
Uh
talking about?
yeah, I do. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh crap! Oh my gosh! I don't know. That's why this is a baseball podcast and not a
Yeah, it's not a
pop
Fast and
culture. But
Furious.
he
Yeah.
had a movie called The Beekeeper come out, and I guess who was the guy you just said? Matt what?
Matt Hilton.
I guess Matt
He's
Hilton's the number one trending beekeeper of the year,
yeah.
not Jason Statham. I was gonna say Jason
Yeah.
Bateman, but I was like, I know that's not right. Yeah, Jason Statham, number two beekeeper trending this year. Matt Hilton, number one trending beekeeper this year.
Yes,
So
sir.
give him the
In
Oscar, give him the Grammy.
the most unlikely of circumstances. Um, but anyway, that's kind of silly. The Diamondbacks won that game, walk-off home run, Christian Walker. And but the Diamondbacks, they're in a heap of trouble in the NL West, but we'll talk
Hmm.
about that later. Anyway, Tampa Bay, they released their City Connect jerseys. Did you see those things, Reagan? I think they're pretty clean.
Yeah, it's with the Devil Ray on the skateboard. I mean, they're pretty cool. As a Yankee fan, I know we'll probably never do City Connects. We don't even have last names on the jerseys. The guys aren't even allowed to have a beard, so we're pretty old fashioned,
I
old
feel
heads
like you
running the.
have to. I feel like you
And
have to.
I would love for them to. I would definitely buy one because I see all these other teams making cool City Connect jerseys over the past couple of years. Like, if I wasn't a Yankee, if I was a Met fan, I would totally cop theirs, and if I was a Rays fan, I would get theirs. Like, all most of the City Connect jerseys that have come out are so freaking cool. Like, I remember
Yeah.
the Padres, the Rockies. I loved the White Sox. I
Hmm.
loved theirs. There's so many cool ones.
Yeah. But there's a couple of them that are a little questionable. You know, Reagan, maybe I'll do a tier list in a future video. Nike City Connect jersey tier list.
Yeah,
Because for
that'd be a good social
example,
media clip.
not going to go too much into it, but I don't know, Pittsburgh kind of reminds me of Bumblebee from Transformers. I'm not a huge fan, uh, but there's a handful of them that are like that. But anyway, that's not big news. The Twins are on a 10-game win streak, and that's their longest winning streak since 2008. But
That's
Byron
surprising,
Buxton,
actually.
yeah, it comes at a cost, though. It always does. Byron Buxton back to the IL. He hurt his
Hmm.
knee again. He's had that knee surgically repaired twice now, and it just keeps flaring up. I actually shouldn't say that he's on the IL. It was not official that he's on the IL as of now, but it certainly seems like he's headed there. And it's just a huge loss. Like it just seems like Buxton's knee is made out of glass at this point in his career. It's sad to see.
Yeah, at least they'll be getting. It sounds like Royce Lewis will be back soon because I know there was a lot of hype around him coming into this year. He was supposed to be like the guy for that team. And it's funny because you look at this Twins roster, especially the batters. Like, there's not a lot of names that pop off the charts. And I know we did like a MLB preview episode a while back, and we were talking about the Twins, and we're like, why are they such heavy favorites to win the division? Like, you can't tell me that on paper they're that much better than the Guardians or the Tigers or the Royals. And obviously the White Sox are they're a whole nother story. But I don't know, man. Obviously Ryan Jeffers is having a great year to start out the catcher, so maybe he could be Joe Mauer 2.0, but you never know. And I mean, I guess the Twins are really getting by with their pitching, which has been stepping up. I mean, Joe Ryan obviously is a good pitcher, and Pablo Lopez had a great year last year. So it seems like their pitchers started out a little shaky, but they're starting to settle down and get those ERAs down.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think that Cleveland would be as good as they are. Because they're at the top of the division now, but that whole AL Central is up in the air, dude. Like there's four different teams that could easily win that division. Everyone except the White Sox. That goes
Yeah.
without saying. Um, the Tigers, they look good. Guys like Colt Keith are really stepping up,
Hmm.
filling a nice role for that team.
Riley Green, that was my
Yes,
MVP. That was my dark horse MVP pick, and he started out ice cold, but he's got that average up to two. What has he got? I think last I saw was like 260 something. Let me check.
yeah,
257 he's got it up to with 7 home runs and 15 RBIs, but he had 3 hits today. No, that was against the Cardinals, but still. So that was my dark horse. But the fact that the Tigers, and I know you were high on the Royals, right, coming into the year.
yes, I'm still high on the Royals actually. They have a solid core, man. Like Bobby Witt Jr. is looking like an MVP right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys like Seth Lugo, like peeling back the years and just throwing gem after gem. Like
Yeah,
he
he
had
he
a
went off today.
Yeah, he got me another 30 points in fantasy. Like, and Cole Reagan's he's a developing superstar. Like, Vinny Pasquantino at
Salvador
first base.
Perez, who's
Yes, dude.
also
What is?
turning back the clock. He's leading
Uh-huh.
the team in. Dude, he's batting 355 with 27 RBIs and 7 home runs. Like, I remember that one like outlier year where he hit like 50 home runs out of nowhere. Which, don't get me wrong, he was always a power guy, but he like that was like his career high by like 20 home runs. He seems like he's returning to that form.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
What a
gonna tell you
stud
right
behind the
now
plate.
because I was trying to find on one of the books, but they haven't even put the line out yet. But I'm hoping to sprinkle like $5, like not a ton, but on Seth Lugo, Cy Young. I know it's crazy, but the way he's pitching right now, the value is going to be there because the fact that it's not even on the books, like five, like I'm thinking you're going to get plus like 20,000 at least. So $5 would win you a grand. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
at least put 5, $10 and just hope that it continues to have the success, especially when you know he's gonna get a couple starts against the White Sox, where that's a walk-in 8 innings pitched, no earned runs,
Hmm.
10 strikeouts right there.
Yeah, that White Sox team, man. Yeah, gives me nightmares, bro. They're in shambles. But Seth Lugo, yeah, I remember when he was on the Mets. I don't think he ever started a game for the Mets, but he was a stud out of the bullpen.
Hmm.
And he's found new form right here and right now. You should have put that bet down before his most recent start today,
I can't
because the
find it. It's not on. They don't
oh
even. They're not
really?
even. That's what I'm saying. They're not even offering it.
Oh, that's wild. They're
Yeah.
gonna be
So
offering it soon.
I'd hope after today. I mean, how many starts does a guy have to go? Like, I think he's like 5-1 with a 1.6. I mean, how do you not offer that? Like,
Yeah.
they're offering, and
Um,
Ragans is still like one of the favorites, and obviously Scoble, who we didn't really highlight on the Tigers, he's having a crazy year as well.
yeah, not including today, Seth Lugo is the eighth ranked starting pitcher in fantasy,
Yeah.
which he got another 30 points today. So wait till it rolls over to tomorrow for that ranking to reset. But uh, I'm grateful that he's on my team. But yeah, I'm still taking the Royals to win this division in the end of the day. Honestly, I don't think the Twins, like, they're streaky. That's what the Twins are, and they're on a winning streak right now. But I think that the Royals have more young talent. I think they're going to stay relevant longer and just overpower the Twins. Carlos Correa on the Twins too. Like, he's not in the form that he used to be. He's injury prone. We know that. We've seen that throughout his career. I think the Royals take this. I actually have a futures bet on that.
What'd you get that
So,
at out of curiosity?
oh, plus 750, I believe.
They're still plus 550, so there still is great value between them and the
Yeah.
Tigers. Tigers plus 400. I was higher on the Tigers coming into the year. They were my pick, but the way the Royals are playing and the way their pitching staff looks right now, where they got a nice like 1-2 punch. But even Marsh has got some starts. And I mean, if Waka can come back to any of his form early on with the Cardinals, I mean, they're deep and their bullpen's deep as well. So, and obviously with Bobby Witt and MJ Melendez and Salvador Perez. They got some guys there where the Tigers, it just seems like every game is like a dogfight for them to win and get offense, where the Royals seem to have a lot of offense and good pitching. They seem a lot more complete.
Yeah, I agree with you. Next in news, we're still cooking on news here. Orioles lose Grayson Rodriguez to injury, and they activate John Means in a corresponding move. That's a huge blow for this Orioles staff. Grayson Rodriguez, former 11th overall pick in the 2018 draft. He had a 3.71 ERA coming into his injury, and it's shoulder inflammation. It's the same thing that Kodai Senga was dealing with, and he's going to miss like 2 months.
Oh
So,
yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
you
we'll,
can't pitch if you have shoulder inflammation. It's not possible. There's no toughing it out.
yeah,
Like the
no,
slightest of throwing arm injuries will derail a season for a player.
for sure. But John Means is a solid veteran to get back, especially to slot into that spot in the rotation. So we'll see how this Orioles staff holds up. Another futures pick I have is the Orioles winning the World Series this year. I sprinkled, but they're going to be in a dogfight with the Yankees the entire
Hmm.
season, and we've already seen that play out in what was it? There was a series they played recently, like within the last matter of days.
Yeah, they're in
Um,
one right. Yeah, the Yankees are up 2-0 tonight, but the Orioles won game 1 and 2, and then they play. It's a 4 game series, so game 4 is tomorrow. The Yankees up and going into the ninth right now, 2-0. So it looks like it should be 2-1 going into tomorrow. So
okay.
it's a big series.
Huge early season dogfight right there. And then kind of entertaining situation occurred down in uh Tampa Bay. Abner Uribe, Freddie Peralta, Jose Siri, and Brewers manager Pat Murphy all ejected and suspended after the events during Tuesday's Brewer win over the Rays. It was honestly an entertaining brawl. I thought that I don't know if you saw the video, Reagan, but
I actually have
Freddie
not.
Freddie Peralta, who is arguably the most solid arm on that Brewers staff, is he hit Jose Siri on a 3-0 count, like square in the buttocks, and it like it really wasn't anything special. And the umpires got together and they decided to toss Freddie Peralta. Well, he Jose Siri hit a home run before that, but really it was kind of a soft ejection. But I mean, we see a lot of that nowadays with the umpires. But so then Uribe, a relief pitcher for the Brewers, decided to swing at Siri when he was covering first base. And you should definitely check out that video. It was
Yeah, I
honestly
will.
entertaining. So Uribe suspended for 6 games. Brewers manager is suspended for 2 games. Freddie Peralta appealed and is suspended for 3 games, and Jose Siri also suspended for 3 games. So that's it's quite a lot of hoopla, if you will.
I'm not gonna lie.
Um,
I think whenever they get in those brawls, it's good for the game. Honestly, like
mm-hmm.
at baseball, like don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's one of those sports where you're not gonna get the casual viewer. So anything like speeding up the pitch clock to make the game more entertaining and more action is good. So while I'm sure the MLB and a lot of the pacifists are like, no, it's not good. Me as a more UFC guy, I love it when they fight. Like when Jose Batista and speaking of, obviously, I see you got the Blue Jays hat on. Jose Batista and Root Door when he just sucker punched him in the face. That was one of
Yeah,
the
dude.
funniest things ever. But it's great for the sport because it gets people buzzing about it. You get all the casual people watching the video and it buzzing. It's awesome. I love it.
Jose Bautista is at the center of like 2 of the most viral baseball clips of all time with that sucker punch he took and that bat flip in the playoffs. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. The one where he just stands there and chucks the bat away
Oh yeah,
after three
he
run
started the
jack.
bat flip. He's the man who
Yeah,
started the bat flip.
I mean, imagine if they were just like they were in hockey when the guys drop the gloves and they just go at it and the refs just kind of stand around and let it go on for a little bit. Like that would be such a crazy baseball narrative. That's something we're never going to see in this sport, but
No, no.
honestly, I'd be okay with it, man. I miss the old brand of baseball with the hard slides and the, all they put in all these rules to protect players. Um, I think about in when the Mets were in the playoffs against the Dodgers in 2015 when Ruben Tejada's leg was broken by Chase Utley on a slide that was intended to break up the play, and immediately at that point I'm like, oh no, like this is the worst thing ever, like these slides have to stop. But I mean, in hindsight, like it happens, man. Like shit happens. It's a professional sport. People are going to get hurt. I feel like everyone should put their body on the line for the game they love. I
I
don't know,
mean,
man.
also they're getting paid millions, so at the
Exactly.
end of the day,
Exactly.
like it's part of your job. That's why you're getting paid, and also like I don't think people realize like they look a lot slower on TV than they actually are. Like they're running a lot faster than they look on TV. People got to realize also like it's not exactly the easiest thing when you're one of the fastest players in the league to just be like to stop on a dime and avoid someone when you're trying so hard to get to the base. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
tell like guys like Bobby Witt and Corbin Carroll and Estoy Ruiz, some of the fastest guys. Like yeah, just like when you're running like
Just
insanely
stop on a
fast,
dime, man.
just
Just
stop on
stop.
a dime and don't hit the player. Like it's not that easy. And obviously, did you see the Aaron Judge thing the other day too? I guess it was going viral
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
because the
When he
way he slides, he like like I got hit in the hand with the baseball. Like first off, that's gotta hurt like a bitch. Like dude just whipped it like was as hard as he can, throwing it to first, and Aaron Judge just gets it straight to the palm. And then people were like complaining, and I do think it should have been overruled. Like clearly that shouldn't have been allowed. Like I'm not going to be biased here, but that is how he slides. Like there's no reason he shouldn't be allowed to slide like that. But if you get hit, then it should be called back. But then again, players might start trying to hit his arm. You're like, oh, I'm not going to beat the throw out, so let me just whip it at his arm, knowing that
yeah.
they'll give me the out. So it's
Yeah.
definitely interesting.
Now, definitely a missed call on that one from the umpires. But I mean, I went back and watched a bunch of Aaron Judge clips, bro. Like, that's how he slides. Like, that was just a freak occurrence. And thankfully, he did have that oven mitt on his hand. Like, the oven mitt that they
Hmm.
have to protect their hands. Thankfully, he did have that on there. And then I saw an interview at the end of the game where the reporters were asking him about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, I slide that way every time." And like end of
That's
story.
and
But
yeah, it ain't no A-Rod where he like punches like clearly just not. I forget who the Red Sox first baseman was at the time where he like smacked it out of his hand, and obviously it got overturned in that one playoff game or whatever, going to
yeah,
the first base, and he just literally just like two hand smacks it out of his mitt and gets all the way to like third on the error, quote unquote.
yeah, I forget what year that was. That might have been Euclid at first base. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
that's going back like that's the heydays of baseball
yeah,
right
that
there.
was
That's
that
like,
was when I first started watching baseball.
mm-hmm.
But anyway, Mike Trout tore meniscus in his knee, another knee injury on the docket. That hurts Reagan's fantasy team, unfortunately.
Yeah,
And
just a bit. He
yeah,
was on a tear too. I mean, he
he
couldn't,
was.
not RBI wise, but home run wise. Obviously, not an angel. Angels just don't get on base when Trout comes up. But you know what? This was one of my reasoning behind the Angels having the least amount of wins in the league. I mean, they don't have the star power. I mean, you had to assume Mike Trout's gonna get injured. Unfortunately, like you never root on a guy, but history's told us he can't stay healthy. And I kind of assumed, I still think he might get traded at the deadline, and they're just gonna blow it up for prospects and stuff. Because right now, what like the Angels are at a weird standstill spot where like the longer you wait with Trout, you're not going to get anything. You know, he's only going up in age and the value's decreasing. So I'm very comfortable where we're at with that. They're 11-20. I mean, the A's, a team everyone's like, oh, the A's are a lock. They're off to a hot start at 15-17, which that to me might be one of the most impressive things to start out the season. The fact that the A's are 32 games in. I know it's early, but a sixth of the season, the freaking Oakland Athletics or Sacramento Athletics or Vegas Athletics, whatever the hell you want to call them at this point,
They're
they're
just the
20.
A's, bro. There's no
They're
city attached.
yeah, they're the United States Athletics. Um, they're 2.5 games back at first place. So it's definitely wild. We just need the Marlins, who are that's probably the biggest disappointment of the year. The Marlins, in my opinion, at 7-24. The White Sox are 6-25, and then the Rockies are 7-22. But with the Rockies and White Sox, we knew they were going to be crap. But that to me, like I don't know, the A's biggest surprise to me, and in a good way, and the Marlins biggest surprise in a bad way. I don't know if there you had other teams with that.
Um, I found the Brewers as the biggest like positive surprise. The Brewers really like stripped down this off season. They lost Corbin Burns, which
Yeah.
is like huge. And then they lost a bunch of other guys that they shouldn't hypothetically be in contention currently leading the Central. They did add Reese Hoskins. That's a great pickup for them. He's playing well. Um, but they have a bunch of guys out. Jackson Churio, he's playing well. He's a nice surprise. We knew he was going to be good. They gave him a lot of money, but they traded guys. They traded away Mark Canna. They traded away Tyrone Taylor, Adrian Hauser, Corbin Burns, as I mentioned. Like those are all key pieces. And the MLB at the beginning of the season, I believe, had the Brewers at 19 overall out of 30 teams. So that was their preseason ranking. And the Brewers they're definitely overperforming that right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Oh, by far, yeah.
And I don't know where they're getting this pitching from. That could be another thing where the days are kind of numbered on that. Like, I'm not sure that that'll hold up, but I'm rooting for the Brewers, honestly. Like Adames he's having a good year for himself. And so go Brewers in the Central, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I knew the Marlins were going to be bad, man, but like it is surprising just how terrible they are. I saw a stat today. Only one of their qualified position players has a WAR above zero. Everyone else has a negative WAR, like wins above replacement. I don't know if you're into those advanced stats, Reagan, but it's pretty much a measure of the effectiveness of a team and a player, and they're just getting nothing from their lineup.
Yeah. I mean, I do try to look at those stats. I mean, I probably should use them more often and base more off of them, but it is interesting. And obviously, Freddie Peralta has been a stud for them. He was a good pitcher already, but and I saw
Mm-hmm.
Colin Ray. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, he's
Um,
he's playing well.
he's playing well as well. But yeah, it's interesting. And I mean, the batting, you just look through the lineup. I mean, there's not a lot of big names, like you said. So I don't know. I really don't think they're going to hang around for long, but it's early in the season. So right now, like you said, they're overperforming. I still think the Cubs are going to run away with that division. I just really like that team. They were my World Series pick, actually. So I still have
They
faith in
were.
them. I still got
Yeah.
faith in those boys out there, even with Cody Bellinger going down. But he'll be
Yeah,
back.
he'll be back though. Yep. And Shota Imanaga, what a start to his season.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like that guy's legit. A lot of these Japanese players coming over, making names for themselves on the international stage here in Major League Baseball. Um, and yet young, what's the guy in for the Giants? Jung
Oh,
Yu
Jung.
Lee, Jung
Yeah.
Hoo Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a stud. Masataka Yoshida for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
He's going to be solid. He's I don't think he's playing as well as he was last year, but
No, he's struggling like crazy, but I think I'm sure he'll bounce back because he had a great rookie year.
yeah. Ooh, another big surprise, Reagan. The
Hmm.
Boston Red Sox, man. Like
Yeah.
they're right in the thick of things in the AL East, and I did not expect them to be there. I thought they were going to be sitting last place, honestly. But they have the best staff ERA, and it's not even close. It's a 2.59 ERA, and second best is the Mariners at a 3.03. Like that's huge. And they're missing guys right now. Like Whitlock's out, Cutter Crawford, he's playing really well. He's picking up the slack. Brian Bayo, he is on the IL currently. I believe he's nearing return, but I'm once again not sure if it's sustainable, but right now you don't want to face the Red Sox pitching.
Yeah, my boy Tanner Hawk too. He's been a strikeout
Mm-hmm.
machine. Caleb's little bro Timmy Dean's been trying to get him from me nonstop. Timmy, you ain't getting him if you're listening. And I also got Vaughn Grisham uh, on the bench right now. He's coming off the IL soon, so that'll be a big ad. He's a guy who was should have been a future piece for the Braves, but they're just so loaded that they got rid of him. He was a guy that stepped in when Albies went down 2 years ago at second base and got some time at shortstop. But when you got Arceus and Albies on your second and shortstop, it's tough to crack the lineup. So that was a guy where they got rid of him for some value. But he's a guy I expect to have a big impact for the Red Sox when he steps back in as well.
Yeah, Cooper Criswell as well. They grabbed him from the Rays this offseason, and he has a 1.65 ERA through three starts, a 0.98 WHIP, 16 innings pitched. So the Red Sox are just making it happen right now. Another player on that team that's really exciting to me is Tristan Casas. Like he is so good. He has a swing that kind of reminds me of Otani combined with Harper. So it's just like he'll be back. We'll see what kind of impact he makes down the stretch for these Red Sox. But it's just very interesting. A lot of these teams you would not have expected these type of performances from.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, oh, Yankees just won. Let's go. Let's go. Big win. Needed that. But yeah, obviously I know Casas, I was hearing a lot of buzz from him because I think they were doing on Netflix or one of those streaming platforms like a Red Sox type like or Hard Knocks thing in the offseason. I heard him getting a lot of buzz. So I think he's going to be a I know they hope he'll be a key contributor. Me as a Yankee fan, we don't need you doing anything crazy there, Tristan.
Yeah. But anyway, last piece of news. Max Scherzer, he's about a month ahead of schedule for his return. He could return around Mother's Day, and that could help the Rangers staff, which is currently sitting middle of the pack at a 3.84 ERA. And Max Scherzer, he's turning 40, and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he still has the capability of mowing down major league hitters at this age, which is crazy. Scherzer, he's coming back from back surgery, and the Rangers, they're not performing at the level that they were last year, but honestly, that's expected. And I can't wait to see what Max Scherzer brings back to this roster. The Rangers are second, 16 and 14, and the Mariners are leading the American League West. Um, and we'll talk about the Mariners in a little bit, but Reagan, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Rangers at all, but do you think they have the capability of trying to repeat as champions?
I mean, right now they're struggling, but it's hard to count them out. I mean, any team can get hot. I mean, we saw last year coming into the playoffs. I don't think anyone expected them to do what they did, and then they just got hot at the right time. Obviously, Garcia was just hitting nuke after nuke.
Mm-hmm.
When you got studs like Simeon and Seager, it gets scary. And obviously, Evan Carter's been struggling out of the gate, but you expect him to pick it up. He was a key piece during that playoff run, and then you'd hope Wyatt Langford he continues to progress in his game. He's still a young guy, struggling a bit out of the gate, but I expect him to pick it up. So they do have a lot of guys, and then the staff, like you said, they're gonna be getting Scherzer back. You need guys like Dane Dunning and Evaldi, who Evaldi will step up come playoff time. But you need your
Mm-hmm.
guys like Dane Dunning, Evaldi. Who else? There's another big guy I'm forgetting about, isn't there? On that Rangers staff.
Well, DeGrom,
Yeah, well, Degrom, but he's not going to pitch this year, is he?
I don't believe so, but
Yeah. Oh,
I mean
John Gray.
Andrew,
John Gray. Oh, and Heaney too. So they
yeah.
got some names, and obviously you went out and got Michael LaRosen. That was one of your free agent signings. So they got some names there. So they just need some of these guys to start stepping it up because right now only John Gray's been stepping it up. He's the only one with a sub 3 ERA. So they really need these guys to step up. But getting a veteran arm like Scherzer back, even though he's obviously not his elite MVP Cy Young form, I mean, still, I'd take a old Max Scherzer over a lot of other pitchers in this league right now. Not a bad problem to have.
No, for sure. Um, but so that's all the news we have, Reagan. We'll take a quick break and be right back. And welcome back into Around the Bases. We're going to take a look at some MVP predictions. I'm going to say mine right now. And if you watched the Around the Felt baseball podcast, then you know Reagan's predictions. But just for the viewer's sake, Reagan, remind us of your MVP predictions.
Yeah, so my in the NL, I said Cody Bellinger. Obviously, right now it's a little suspect. He's having an okay year to start out, but he's on the IL right now. But he'll be back, so it's not dead. It's still at the same value, I believe. And then in the AL, I said Riley Green as a dark horse, and I believe I forget who I said as like my main guy, but I'll go. I'll stick with Riley Green. That was who I said. Who was like a way shot in the dark dart throw because honestly, I kind of believe in value, and I'm not. I don't want to like say one Yankee guy because I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just the Yankees succeed as a team. I don't really care if one guy goes off. I just want the whole team to play well. So I'm like, I'm not gonna say Soto or Judge. Judge with how he started, he ain't winning it. But
Yeah, Judge might not be so much, but my American League MVP prediction was in fact Juan Soto, and that's looking juicy right now.
yeah, he's the
Um,
favorite.
yeah, he is. You know, not huge value in that. His odds on DraftKings right now plus 300. I got that at plus 600. Um, and then for the National League, Mookie Betts is currently leading the race. His odds are at plus 220. Mookie Betts is absolutely insane, Reagan. Right now, he has a 1100 OPS on base plus slugging and a 368 average. Like that's MVP material right there. It's going to be hard to beat that. But honestly, for my dark horse prediction for the NL, I took O'Neal Cruz, and that's not looking so hot. I actually traded. I was so high on O'Neal Cruz that I traded for him in our fantasy league, and I actually just dropped him
I was gonna
because,
say I saw him on the
yeah,
waivers
yeah,
today.
yeah, I dropped him because I he's just not he's striking out at like a 30% clip. Like
Yeah, that ain't
that's
no
not gonna fly.
that ain't no
Um,
dark horse. That's a dead horse at this point.
That's it. Yeah, we don't want to beat the dead horse. So, but I mean, yeah. So Juan Soto, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he keeps it up. But I have a feeling I could be getting a little bit richer, Reagan.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll take that as a Yankee fan. I will
Um,
say with like the Dodgers and the Braves, it's just, I don't know. It's so tough for me to like get behind any of those guys winning it because I just think they're gonna eat each other up because like they just have their both lineups are so deep and all the guys are gonna put up such good numbers. Where if you get a guy like I don't know, on one of the other teams, like if Tatis or like De La Cruz, like some of those other guys up there, just like even Pete Alonso's got some odds where if he just like wills his team into the playoffs and you just like look at the roster around him and the numbers are similar to some of those other guys where it's like, well, you are playing with Shohei, Freddie Freeman, or you're playing with Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ozzy Albies, so I think there's something to be said with that.
no, you're absolutely right. It's definitely saturated on those type of lineups, you know. Um,
Hmm.
and Pete Alonso, I actually sprinkled on Pete Alonso last year to win MVP, and he didn't. Obviously, he hit like 230, but the power numbers are still there for Alonso. They always have been. I think they always will be. He just eclipsed 200 home runs.
Damn.
Um, yeah, and he's only been in the league since 2019.
Hey,
So,
Pete. All right, Pete.
yep. So I can't. I hope they lock him up. I hope they make him a Met for life. I was getting a little scared this offseason. They were hesitant to sign him at all, or even avoid arbitration, you know. But they finally did avoid arbitration, and he's still on the roster. But like, um, so anyway, the National League MVP odds preseason. Betts was first, Acuna second, Otani third, Tatis fourth, and Corbin Carroll was fifth. That was coming into the season. Now, if we look at the live odds, Mookie Betts, Shohei Otani, Acuna, Tatis, and Ellie De La Cruz slotting in at the 5 spot for the top 5 odds for MVP. Um, so MLB.com, they did a pretty good job predicting the MVP frontrunners, uh, with the exception of Ellie De La Cruz. And that man is a freak of nature.
Oh
That
yeah.
that could be a value play, Reagan. There's decent value there, plus 1,300.
What about what about Corbin Carroll at plus 6,000? Like it's still only
Yeah,
30 games in. Like he could get out of that slump and just go on a tear and you got a freaking plus 6,000 ticket. Like I don't know.
hmm
Definitely interesting there to me.
for sure. And that's the type of thing that I love about baseball. Like you can start out so cold, and at the end you can be the MVP. Like we've seen it happen before. Um, Ellie De La Cruz, though, man, like
Yeah, it's definitely worth a sprinkle, especially looking through the Reds lineup. It's not they're not have they have a winning record, but not a lot of good batters there. I was looking today. Most guys are hitting around the sub 200 mark or low 200 mark. So he's by far the reason that they are where they are right now. Without him, that would be a team with a losing record. They'd probably be very similar to uh, I want to say like the Rockies. Maybe not that bad, the Rockies and the Marlins, but they'd be down there if it wasn't for that man.
yeah, I agree. Jonathan India, he's there, but he's kind of taken a step back
Yeah, what
since his
happened to him,
rookie
man?
campaign. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He won
then
Rookie of the Year, right? Did he not?
yes, yeah, he did. Yep.
Hmm.
But it happens. But Ellie De La Cruz is, I mean, you look up and down this roster. I mean, he's the best hitter on the roster. That's for sure. Um, and I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he's
batting
close to 300.
279.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's batting 279, 19 RBIs, 18 stolen bases. That's what stands out for me. 18 stolen bases this early in the season. That's crazy. And
Yeah.
he has a 962 OPS, 8 home runs. That's up among the league leaders. That's significant. So Ellie De La Cruz, Felt fans, might be worth a certified sprinkle.
Wow. And once we get into the pitchers, I'll say what I'm gonna say. Or because you wanted to for the Cy once we get over to the Cy Youngs, I got something to say.
No, go right ahead. We can transition over to the Cy Youngs right now.
Uh, Yeah, I mean Shota at plus 1800. That just screams. You got. I
Oh
mean, the
man,
dude's throwing a gem against the Mets right now. I mean, he's done for the night. They're up 1-0 against the Mets, but 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks. His ERA is down to a .78. He's 4-0 on the year. If they hold on, he'll be 5-0 here. I mean, holy shit. Have we seen a guy come over from a league like this and have this type of production? Because he's not even the one that they were. He's not the guy that was getting all the hype. I mean, it sounded like it was more Jung Lee and then Yashimoto, or not yet. How do you? I don't know.
Yamamoto. Yeah,
Yamamoto. Yeah. I mean, I get this might be the guy that's came over in a long since Shohei that's actually lived up to the hype, if not better. I mean, this guy's way over exceeding, and I know it's only 6 starts, so let's not overreact crazy here. But the Cubs found themselves an ace. I mean,
hmm
holy crap! I would like when I said World Series, I was not expecting this kind of pitching. So if he keeps it up, I mean, he's not going to keep it up to this level. He's going to get shelled a couple times. It's only human, but holy crap. I think plus 1800 is crazy value. I mean, like I said, he's got a .7 ERA right now. He's about to go to hopefully 5-0. So
yeah,
I don't know. A lot of the guys in front of him could easily fall off, but then again, Zach Wheeler's on a tear as well.
yeah. Zach Wheeler is really good. But man, those odds, like I mean, say louder for the people in the back. Like those
Plus
odds,
1800.
yeah, yeah. That I mean, I'm gonna go do it right after this game, honestly, Reagan.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I might too. Should the boy
my
should the base boys freaking lock that in?
I think so.
Probably the best
Uh,
value we'll get at this point.
oh, for sure. And unless he has a bad start, maybe we wait for one bad start.
Yeah, true,
Maybe
true.
I don't know.
If he gets shelled next start, you'd think that would blow up a little bit.
Yeah, but if it's come get it while it's hot, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my pick for NL Cy Young was Kodai Senga, and once again, that's not looking too good considering he hasn't pitched yet.
Yeah.
Um, Reports are that he's looking absolutely nasty facing live batters coming back from his injury, but that's all hearsay at this point until I see it live in a game. I I have no way to prove that, but I guess hypothetically, if you believe that Kodai Senga is going to come back and have a 1.0 ERA, then there's good value there. But it's very hard to win the Cy Young when you miss a good portion of the season. But switching over to the AL,
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty mainstream pick for that one. I just like Corbin Burns. I didn't bet on Corbin Burns to win, but in my mind he's gonna be the Cy Young. Especially like with Cole out for as long as he is gonna be out, and the question like the uncertainty surrounding Cole's injury that further solidifies Burns moving up in the Cy Young rankings. Reagan,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be. He's obviously the most proven guy. I believe. Did he ever get one in the NL? He did, right? He has one, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. But obviously, like if you look around the guys around him with all the odds, they're a bunch of unproven guys. Like obviously Luis Castillo, he's been pretty good, and Pablo Lopez have been good, but all the other guys around him are young and unproven. So it's his race to win. I mean, Scoble, Raggins, Gilbert, Kirby. I mean, that kind of speaks to how good the Mariners pitchers have been this year. And obviously, Jose Barrios is having a great year with Toronto early on. But I think Tanner Hawk also, like, he's a guy you could sprinkle on. There's a lot of guys I want to sprinkle on the AL because if it ain't Corbin Burns, that shit is wide open this year. Because I'm telling you right now, like, the sports books are baiting you to bet on Garrett Cole. He's plus 3,500. They are baiting you to take that. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. They're not
No
going to give
way.
it to a guy that only has 20 starts this year. Like he's not going to come back till I believe June earliest. So if he gets 20, like why would they give him the Cy Young if he pitches 2/3 of everyone else does, and he already has won before? Like he would have to go on an all-time tear, and I still don't think there's a chance. So that would just be pissing money down the pisser. So yeah, definitely think there's a lot of options, but Hawks staring me in the face, and obviously I said Lugo earlier, so when those odds come out, definitely sprinkling on him. So we'll have to
That
highlight that.
that's extremely valid as well.
But good thing I
Um,
can bet on Alex Manoah. I mean, hey, that's cool, right? He's not even. I don't even think he's in the majors right now, but that's cool,
hey,
right?
he just got 12 Ks in a rehab start. So
But that's my point. It's funny I could bet on him, a guy who just like bounces up and
not
down,
in the
and he's
league, yeah.
yeah.
But you can't bet on Lugo. That's
DraftKings, you're
wild.
a joke. You're a joke, DraftKings. You're a joke. If you're listening right now, you're a joke.
Yeah. Around the Felt not sponsored by
Nope.
DraftKings.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Like, let me tell you, Reagan, streaming pitchers this year in fantasy was the move. Like, I feel bad, so bad for Shawnee Moe for taking Garrett Cole. Like,
Yeah,
I, I
what an
just, I
idiot.
just, I just, I just had to stay away from pitchers in the top of my draft, man. Like, with all the injuries we're seeing, with like the 40% increase in Tommy John surgery, and I'm so glad that I picked position players high in the draft because I was planning on streaming pitchers all year because of the risk that comes with
Yeah.
drafting a pitcher so high in the draft. Like, it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of Tommy John surgeries we're seeing, and it's honestly disturbing. Um, I'm going to come out and say that probably by the end of the decade, there's going to be significant changes to the pitch clock, if not and a complete removal of it, just because of the amount of injuries that are happening.
Well, and that's why it took Spencer Strider over Cole. Like I'm not silly like Shawnee Moe. Actually, but Cole will be back and Spencer Strider's out. But as of now, it looks to be the better pick. You know, Spencer Strider got me like 10 points doing his two starts. But yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Something's going to change with the pitch clock or pitching. It'd be funny, honestly. Like, why don't we just let these guys all be like, just like let a bunch of average Joes become the pitcher and just a bunch of guys throwing like 60, 70 miles an hour. So scoring's up. That'll get baseball entertaining if we get like football scores because all it is a bunch of like guys who can only throw 70 tops.
Right. Well, I mean, you already get football scores when you face the Marlins rotation or the Rockies rotation. So,
Ooh, Marlins fans and Rockies fans, look away.
yeah, I don't know if there's any of those listening to this podcast, but
Probably
let
not.
me
You're
know in the
probably on
comments.
yeah, you're probably on to Marlins fans. You're probably watching your Heat lose game 5 right now, and Rockies
Yeah,
fans, you got
damn
the
straight.
Nuggets. You got the Nuggets, guys.
And you guys got Zach Wilson.
That is true. That is true. They on the come up. They on the come up, just not in baseball.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to talk about today. One more thing that is concerning is J Rod, Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners.
Hmm.
Um, he, I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna make a connection, a callback rather to an Around the Felt podcast, and I'm gonna put a certified fraud watch on Julio Rodriguez
Wow.
because he has one home run and 79 OPS plus, which is 21 points below league average. And, to have a player be in the top upper echelons of the MVP like rankings in the preseason and then have him playing like this, I don't know. And he just plays with so much. I feel like he's kind of cocky. Um, So yeah, I got a certified fraud watch out for Julio Rodriguez. This man sub 300 on base percentage. He's not even walking that much. 11 RBIs. That's not going to cut it for a Mariners offense that is struggling. It's in the tank right now.
Yeah, he's
The
supposed to be the guy.
he really is, and I don't want to prey on his downfall here, but like I'm seeing it before my very eyes in the early season. Granted, don't hate on me in the comments, guys. It's still early season, but Julio Rodriguez, uh, I would not be buying his stock right now.
And I think the best part about all of that is he's leading the Mariners in his batting average at 270, which is good. But the Julio Rodriguez we know hits like at least 30 home runs a season. But that also speaks to how good their pitching is. And obviously, when you have a three-headed monster in Kirby, Castillo, and Gilbert, and even Bryce Miller's not a bad fourth option there. It helps. But on top of that, I mean, like they're 17 and 14, and all their guys are just nobody's doing like they have no offense. It's pure pitching. I mean, like
Yeah,
He's their best, like the qualified batter at 270. Like Ty France is 253, and then after Ty France, it's all 220 and belows. Like Jorge
Yep.
Polanco, a guy we've seen be very active as a hitter, is batting 181 this year. I mean, what is going on with this team? Mitch Haniger, that's not working out. Mitch Garver, that's not working out. The Mitches ain't working out. So, whew, rough lineup. But if they get their hitting going, that's a scary team because their pitching is one of the best staffs in the league. I mean, obviously you said Boston's number one right now, but I don't think that'll hold up long term.
Yep. Seattle's right behind him in number two, as I previously mentioned. But, if the Mariners are going to hold on to this division, they have to step it up on the offensive side. Like 16th ranked offense isn't going to help right
No.
now. 219 uh, batting average as a team, like that's no bueno, to put it lightly. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of our little baseball banter here tonight, Reagan. We've covered most of the glaring topics in Major League Baseball currently. Um, Stay tuned, folks. We might just pull up to Yankee Stadium this summer as a crew, the entirety of our Around the Felt crew might go to the Subway Series at Yankee Stadium, and that'll be a hoot and a holler. And we'll put out quite a lot of content around that, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. But regardless, I'll be back next week with more baseball news. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you for having me on. Obviously, I won't be on here every time. I know you're going to have a couple different guys you're going to bring on, but I appreciate you extending the invite to me to come on tonight. And I'm excited to see all the content. And I know I'll be listening every week as well as the rest of you. So if you're listening at this point, make sure you subscribe to all the Around the Felt accounts. Follow Around the Bases on Instagram. I know you're planning on setting up Around the Bases on some of the other social medias too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be on Twitter and TikTok, but for now,
X.
make
I'm
sure
sorry, X, not
it's
Twitter.
Twitter. It's Twitter, bro.
Throw up the X. Um, but yeah,
Um, but yeah, we'll be having plenty of content to come here. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time.